Speaker, I move for a few minutes suspension.
Session suspended. Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I reiterate my earlier motion. I move that we recognize the Deputy Minority Leader, Congressman Paul Dasa, for his interpellation.
The Honorable Paul Dasa is recognized to interpolate the sponsor.
Thank you, Speaker. Good evening to my colleagues. Good evening to the sponsors and to the resource persons from Meralco. My first question, the franchise is almost already 25 years, going to expire in year 2028. I want to ask the sponsors, we've learned many lessons in the past, and I wanted to focus on consumer protection. So were there any improvements in the committee report in any language that will ensure that we have advanced in terms of consumer welfare, consumer protection, not just language, generic language that we will protect consumer interest?
Well, the franchise itself, I think, has Section 7, wherein it commits itself to the protection of consumer welfare. But if we are willing to accept any further refinements to that section, Section 7. And second, we have under IPIRA, of course, we have the ERC. Meralco cannot do, virtually does everything according with the approval of the ERC.
Thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. In Section 7, it's very generic promotion of consumer interest, and it's just basically a general statement. It's good to have. It's better than none. Thank you for the willingness of the sponsor to maybe consider certain amendments that may strengthen consumer welfare, consumer protection. Because let me highlight to the sponsors, Mr. Speaker, when the original franchise was given to Meralco, technology, fintech wasn't around. Connectivity wasn't as strong as today, social media. So I wanted to prompt the sponsors that with all these advances in technology, there's got to be some sort of inclusion in the language that will enhance consumer welfare and consumer protection. And I was somewhat disappointed to see that it's just the usual kind of generic statement on consumer protection. So that's what I was kind of looking for, as a way to kind of improve. And also it's good, I think, for the franchise holder. It may mitigate eventually consumer complaints, consumer welfare issues, if there are some sort of language that we can develop that will ensure leveraging technology with the vision of stronger consumer protection.
Well, Your Honor, under Section 41 of the IPIRA, there is the Magna Carta of residential consumers, and then the response time is considered on the performance-based regulations. So you have several of them, which I mentioned at the beginning. And the bill is also, the electric bill is unbundled, so the consumers know what they are buying or what they're paying for. And if you want to push this forward, I don't know whether it is possible that the IRR for that particular section can be written by the ERC?
Yeah,
If
thank
that
you,
is-
Mrs. Speaker.
If that will make, that will, I think, further, but I don't know. But it hasn't been tried that a franchise bill has an IRR, and that section, because you think it's too generic, then things that can make it real can be done by a government institution or authority in charge, particularly to protect the consumers. And under EPIRA, that's precisely ERC.
Thank you for that. My understanding is the Magna Carta for residential users, I think there's a similar Magna Carta for businesses, which the ERC is supposed to make sure as a regulator that the franchise holder is implementing. Is that correct? It's the ERC that regulates and makes sure there's compliance.
Correct.
Okay. Well, so because that was mentioned, does the ERC report the Magna Carta compliance of Meralco? Or for that matter, any other, in fairness to them, to other similar distribution companies? Is that a commonly, easily accessible type of information that the public can get?
Well, the Meralco makes reports to the ERC with respect to the performance indicators. For example, the SIFI, the SID, the frequency of outages, minutes of outages. Essentially, Your Honor, they would be available from the ERC. But I think we can make, I don't know whether in this franchise, whether it's the proper venue for that particular enhancement of consumer welfare, or rather we are actually in the middle of amending the EPIRA, and we can mandate the ERC to report the performance indicators of its covered institution.
So to clarify, it's just a yes or a no. Does the ERC publish the Magna Carta compliances of, let's say, Meralco and other, distribution companies?
Comprehensively, no, but Meralco reports.
I'm sorry, it's
Comprehensively, the ERC does not. But Meralco reports to ERC on this particular indicator.
ERC does not comprehensively report, but I'm sorry, but Meralco
Reports
submits. But
submit
no one reports. See, no one
to the public.
discloses to the public. Well, that's what I mean. We have so much new technology now. It's so easy to post. I mean, if the sponsor wanted to let everybody know when his birthday was or is, he's got a birthday party, you post it on Facebook, everybody knows. So much more for consumer protection, consumer welfare. I can't imagine that that's not published. It's not easily. So there's got to be. We should develop some sort of language to improve, because there's a window of opportunity that I think that can serve the public interest.
But, Your Honor, as I've said, we are in the middle of amending EPIRA. I think very well the first batch of reforms is really on the ERC, refers to ERC. Second, we have the DOE implementation report, and it's done annually. It is DOE report on the implementation of EPIRA, which is published by the DOE, and
With the indulgence of sponsor, I understand. If I'm a manufacturer, let's say, of a car and I have a defect in the car, it's my responsibility to immediately disclose. Meralco's a big company. They can very easily on their own disclose this to the public. So why don't we require, instead of passing the buck, because tonight, we're discussing a renewal of franchise, and I want to see some sort of improvement in terms of consumer welfare, consumer protection. I understand about DOE, ERC, but what's on the table or what's on the floor now is the renewal of Meralco, and I think it's incumbent upon us to find some sort of improvement in the language that will easily make it more transparent in terms of compliances on consumer protection issues, which was mentioned the Magna Carta. So why couldn't we put language in that will, for example, that they would, we did it for, I mean, there, you know, CAAP with the giving the operations and maintenance on the airport. The new private operator will comply, will disclose. So why couldn't we do the same thing in Spirit? Wouldn't that be a reasonable, fair request in terms of consumer welfare? Why can't Miracle, let's say, post themselves consumer-related issues and put some burden on them?
Yes, Your Honor. I think at the appropriate time during the period of amendments, I think that can very well be, I think, accepted and considered by the chairperson of the committee itself.
Okay, thank you for that. I think the plan is to maybe move forward for a period of amendments.
No,
So if,
I don't want a shortcut. I am enjoying the debate.
okay, we don't start till 10 o'clock tomorrow, and I can get away
Okay.
with 4 or 5 hours sleep. So, well, instead of waiting for the period of amendments, could the sponsor give me specific ideas to improve the language in this committee report?
Well, we can include reportorial requirements to Congress, Your Honor. Annual reportorial requirements to Congress, not just to ERC and DOE.
Okay, that's a good start. And then
And
instead of just a report that's given to the speaker or the chairman of the relevant committee, I've been a member of this House. It's my third term total, second in this batch. There's so many reporting requirements from various agencies, from financial reports, operational reports. I've never seen one. It just gets buried somewhere in the storage. So, because my point is, with technology, so why not have them just post it on a website permanently on all this reporting that's already included here? For transparency, they also post it. Whatever they can send to the Speaker of the House or to the Chairman of ABC Committee, I think the public should have easy access to that.
actually, Your Honor, it is published in their quarterly report, but I
And
think
Mr. Speaker, when it's published quarterly report, it's not a hard copy, or is it something that's both hard and soft
Website.
that's posted on a website, and I can very easily check what that was?
hard and soft.
I'm sorry?
It is both in hard and soft copy, Your Honor.
And the soft copy is published,
The website,
posted in the website
quarterly.
quarterly, and what reports are those?
That would include SIFI, the frequency of blackouts, outages, SID, the minutes of outages, the system's loss, thank you.
Mr. Speaker, to expedite the proceedings, through the efforts of a few experts, there's some language here that maybe should be considered that will address and improve Section 7 in terms of consumer protection. May I move for a few minutes suspension, Mr. Speaker?
Session is suspended.
Oh, no. Tapos,
Masters yata yung ano. Sorry niya. Thank you, Paul.
Mr. Speaker,
Versus oh, back to the ano yan? Ito? Ah. Paul?
Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for the continuation of the period of sponsorship and debate, I move that we recognize the sponsor and the chairman of the Committee on Legislative Franchises, Representative Gustavo Tamunting of the 2nd District of Parañaque.
The Honorable Gus Tamunting is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Deputy Minority Leader Representative Paul Dasa to continue his interpellation.
Okay.
Honorable Dasa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To continue, as regards to consumer welfare, consumer protection, may I ask the sponsor if they will be amenable to amend certain language, I think in particular in Section 7 that addresses consumer protection.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleague, definitely. And Meralco has been known to be just that. They are very customer-friendly and responsive. As a matter of fact, in my opening speech that I was supposed to deliver, may I take part of it? In its customer empowerment efforts, Meralco offers various platforms for addressing electric services, including a mobile app and website, where they submit their reports, including allowing customers to apply for service, track application, report outages, and make inquiries. Customers also have multiple payment options from over-the-counter to digital payment methods. Additionally, Meralco's prepaid electric service, known as K-Load, expanded over 97,300 customers, enabling better control over electricity consumption and cost. And of course, Meralco has consistently provided aid to areas outside its franchise affected by natural disasters, sharing expertise and resources with other distribution utilities. It has contributed to the restoration efforts after typhoons such as Pablo in 2012, Yolanda 2013, Odette, and Egay in 2023, among others. During the COVID, Meralco collaborated with COVID-19 interagency task force units to support establishment of quarantine facilities. So therefore, what am I trying to say? They have not been remiss, but of course, any amendment that you will propose to strengthen it further, we are willing to take a look and submit to any amendment that would make it more customer-friendly and promote the consumer interest. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleague.
Thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. I look at this as a golden opportunity because I think Meralco pretty much has high standards on corporate governance, financial transparency, and in consumer protection compared to maybe other similar companies. So if we could all agree on some improvement in the language, the golden opportunity, Mr. Speaker, is, my understanding is if we agree on enhancement of certain language that we can include here, this could be an improvement on the usual franchise template that the Committee on Legislative Franchises works on. So I thank my two esteemed colleagues, the Honorable Tambunting and Salceda, for their clarification and responses. And I will wind up on that note and wait for the period of amendments that I was assured the sponsors will accommodate.
Thank you, Honorable Dasa. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we recognize the representative of the Teachers Party List, Congresswoman Franz Castro, for her interpellation.
The Honorable Castro is recognized to interpolate the sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So first question po, no, kailan po yung recent franchise na naaprubahan po with Meralco, Mr. Speaker? Anong year?
As stated earlier by the Honorable Salceda, 2003 po
So-
ang huling ang franchise. Opo.
So 2003, so therefore sa 2028 pa mag-expire.
Opo.
Yes, so sa rules ba natin, so ngayon ay 2024, 4
years
years
to go.
before, nare-renew na po yung
Opo, ano po yan? Usually, traditionally, it is within the 5-year period. Ang ating po sinusunod.
before the expiration.
And it's only 4 years to go.
Okay. Thank you po, Mr. Speaker. So, so yung pong ano no, yung po bang nakalagay dito na mga places of operations, ito pa rin po ba yung nakalagay doon sa dati? O may dinagdag?
It is exactly the same.
Okay. So, sa pagre-renew po ng franchise, especially in the DUs, so kung ano po yung places of operation or area, so yun po yun. Kahit na mag-renew ng 25,
Yes.
another 25 years.
Yes.
Kasi di po ba sa committee hearing nung last time, parang gustong magdagdag dahil may mga areas na nag-a-apply sa Meralco covered by other DUs. Tama po?
Yes, there were proposals, but they were all deleted.
Yes, so hindi
And,
dinagdag dahil
yes. Opo.
dahil this is not covered in the franchise.
Yes.
And they are covered by other DUs.
Yes.
So hindi po pwedeng ano no sa pagbibigay ng mga franchise natin sa DUs. So hindi po pwede na alba yung customer dito sa area na to, ayaw niya yung service ng DU, hindi pwedeng mag-apply sa Meralco. Hindi po pwedeng gawin yun.
Paano po yan? Can you please?
I mean,
paano pala?
for example, it is not covered. Ito, katulad ng sinabi kanina, no, there are areas kasi na nag-a-apply.
Opo.
So, kung halimbawa, meron na tayong franchise, di ba, ng Meralco, existing na itong franchise na ito, at merong mga areas na gustong mag-apply, violation yon kapag
Opo.
magsusupply sila.
Correct.
Okay, so malinaw po yun, Mr. Speaker. So, malaki po yung yung sakop nung coverage ng siniservisyohan ng Meralco as distributing unit. Mga ilan pong megawatt ang sinidistribute po ng Meralco dito sa mga areas? So ang mga areas po ay Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Rizal, and certain cities, municipalities, barangays in Batangas,
Area-
Laguna,
okay.
Quezon, and Pampanga. So ilang megawatt po ang
It covers 39 cities, 72 municipalities, 7.8 million customers, approximately 25% of the Philippine population, the megawatts, 19.32 gigawatts. 9.32 gigawatts.
So, ang laki po, ano?
9.32.
19.32 gigawatts
Opo.
in 7.8 million customers.
Yes.
35% of the whole Philippines.
25%
25.
of the Philippine population.
So with this with this capacity po ng Meralco, syempre po tinitignan natin in terms of yung tungkol doon sa presyo. Since ang laki ng area na dinidistributan or siniservisan, nagmamatter po ba yung rates as compare with the DU? Kasi yung mga ibang mga DUs, for example, maliit lang yung siniservisan nila, isang municipality lang or
Correct.
dalawa, pero ito malaki. So, yung po bang rates ng kuryente is directly proportional po doon sa dami ng area or
Yes, because
inversely
the
proportional
divisor,
po?
the
Kasi
divisor would be the
depende po sa
consumers,
supply,
ah.
di ba?
So the more consumers, then
The lesser.
the lower the price.
The lower
Oh,
the price.
yes.
So kung ikukumpara po natin yung price ng Meralco po, average, regardless of area po ba yon, Mr. Speaker? Regardless of area, so
Well-
the rates are the same, average.
Hindi naman po, because you have to understand, the cost of a DU will be higher Pag medyo malalayo, kung mahaba yung cabling kailangan ikabit, mas
okay.
maraming posts kailangan ikabit, then their overhead definitely will be
Okay.
more. Di ba ho? So especially here in Metro Manila, alam naman po natin, hindi naman ho ito yung mga kahoy lang na tinatayo. No? Ito po yung mga simento na talagang kailangan materialis pertes. At mga ibang lugar ay malalayo rin naman ang kailangan na dakbayin ng mga kable.
So, kino-consider po
medyo-
yun doon sa
Opo.
pricing ng or sa rates?
Yeah, so
Kino-consider din
of
yun?
course the land area is also would affect also the prices. No?
Okay. So yung tanong ko po, halimbawa ako, meron po ako example ng ng Meralco bill. So, hindi ko lang po maintindihan, Mr. Speaker, bakit for example, yung August 2024 na bill, meron pong rate this month na 11.97 per kilowatt hour. Tapos the next month, 12.30 per kilowatt hour. So, paano po ba nako-compute yung difference? So, sabi niyo po, may average na rate na binibigay tayo, or pina-follow tayo sa bawat bawat area, bawat places ng service.
Anong buwan po yan?
August.
Pwede,
So-
alam po ninyo, andyan ho yung breakdown kung paano ho yung charging nila, paano sila umabot sa ganong numero.
No, the rate per kilowatt hour 11.97 nung August, tapos 12.30 per kilowatt hour nung September. So, ang tanong ko po, so paano siya nako-compute na sabi niyo po, di ba, ano po ba yung factors?
Well, ang pinakamalaki
na
po dyan,
nagiging
60%
po?
ng gastos ho dyan would be the generation charge, no? And this is, ang mga factors ho kung ba't nagbabago dyan, kasi ang fuel cost nagbabago, ang dollar exchange rate nagbabago. So depending on how these things move, then the charging changes also, no? The prices changes. Yung sabi po yung mga rate per kilowatt hour, magbabago din po yung rate niyan because of these adjustments, which is beyond the control of the DU.
So, ito, for example, yung mga charges for this billing, yung generation, ito po, yung bill, 3,751.91. So, yung generation, 2,120.55. Okay? So, yan. Transmission, 198.19. System loss, 191.14. Meralco distribution, 758.45. Then subsidies, negative 6.04. Government taxes, ito po yung VAT, tama, 395.52. Universal charges, 68.62. Pit all, renewable, 25.56. So ito po yung yung components ng billing
Opo.
ng Meralco. So sa lahat po ba ng DU parehas ang components?
Yes.
Okay.
Lahat ho yan ay pinapaliwanag sa consumer kung paano na-derive yung final amount.
Okay.
So meron po
Sa-
parang breakdown.
Yes. Sa isang pagdinig po, Mr. Speaker, meron tayong pinag-uusapan na taxes per component ng kuryente. Di ba yung generation, transmission, distribution. So ito po ba ay nagkakaroon na ng tax before yung consumer ay mag-paid din ng kanyang VAT?
Yes. May tax yan.
So ang ibig sabihin po, patong-patong yung,
Yes.
yung tax.
Yes, meron po.
May tax sa generation, may tax sa transmission,
Opo.
may tax sa even system loss. Parang kino-cover nyo rin ng tax, tama ba?
VAT.
Ay, ng VAT. Okay? So, yung distribution, at saka yung... Pero, ano po yung kaibahan ng government tax dito doon sa taxes covered by the generation, transmission, system loss, etc.? Nandoon na ba siya in total doon sa government tax?
Yes.
O iba-iba pa?
Opo. Nakapaloob po siya.
Doon sa government tax?
Yeah.
Kasi naalala ko si Kong Representative Dagook, yung nagmi-meeting tayo about yung kuryente. Merong mga pinapatong na tax ang mga generation companies, merong transmission, meron tax na pinapatong ang transmission companies, ayan, yung Meralco din, system loss, tama po ba yun? Okay, so, ibig sabihin, Mr. Speaker, dito sa billing pala natin sa mga DUs, and including Meralco, talagang patong-patong na tax. And that would be addressed siguro by laws, no? Kung paano siya ma-address. Well, can you educate this representation about the universal charges at saka yung fit-all renewable, bakit ba ito sinasama doon sa billing ng isang customer? Ano po ba yung universal charges?
So there are two questions. The first is the universal charges. The universal charge is mandated by the EPIRA law. No? EPIRA dictated that. And if you would like to get rid of that or minimize that or change that, then in the view of the EPIRA law, then that's something that we should also discuss. And the second question is,
Fit-all.
that is in the
renewable.
Renewable Energy
Oo.
Act.
Bakit
Andiyan po yan. Nakapasok din po
kabayan ng
yan.
mga
So,
customers?
Congress din po ang nag-ano yan na maningil, no? And alam naman po natin na maybe that's something that we have to study kasi I know what you're trying to drive at. Na lahat ho ay may tax component, no? Lahat ay tinatax natin.
So lahat po ng DU merong fit-all renewable?
Yes.
So ito pong itong 25.56, saan po ito napupunta sa government?
Yes. Yan po ay napupunta po yan sa mga renewable energy generators po yan.
Ng
At sila po
government?
magbabayad.
Saan po ito ibinabayad? Yung fit-all renewable? Hindi naman po ito nadadagdag doon sa pondo natin for renewable energy.
So, this goes to Transco, then Transco pays the RE generators, no? So, yan po ay, it's like a pass-on cost, no? Na pinapass on lang po yan, hindi po pinagkakitaan ng ating mga DUs yan. These are
Yes.
all given back, no? The way it is billed. And this is all monitored by the different government agencies, especially PRC.
Yes, I understand. Hindi naman ito napupunta doon sa
Opo.
distributing
Opo.
units
Opo.
or companies. Kaya lang nga, syempre pinag-uusapan natin itong Meralco na nakalagay naman yan dyan. So I wonder lang paano ito nakaka-benefit yung ating mga mamamayan. Ito nga lang po, Mr. Speaker, na system loss. Questionable din ito na bakit binabayaran din ito ng ating mga mamamayan. So pag yung computation po ba ng system loss, magkaiba po pa pag company or individual or residences or pare-parehas po ang rate?
Iba po yan, depende sa rate nila, no? So, nagbabago yan, depende kung magkano talaga ang singil. Sa residential, kasi iba-iba po yan, depende po sa load din nila, no? So, yan po ay hindi one rate for all. Hindi po ganyan ang pag-compute dyan. Even sa mga kooperatiba natin. Ganyan
Iba-iba
din
po yung formula
Opo.
ng DU, cooperatives,
Opo.
at saka ng ano. Yung subsidies po, merong negative 6 pesos and 4 centavos. Ano po itong negative 6 subsidies? Subsidies. What? Mr. Speaker?
So, hindi kayo nagdali. So, ito po ay para po sa lifeline at saka para po sa mga seniors. At ito po ay usually, ito ay kinukuha sa iba at ibinibigay sa iba. Depende, I think, kung sino yung magamit ng ng kuryente, especially po yung mga kababayan po nating kailangan po talaga ng tulong. No? So sila po ang nakikinabang po dyan.
Okay. Depende po doon sa kilowatt hour na
Opo.
consumption per month.
Opo.
So,
Correct.
so, ibig sabihin,
Sa Meralco po, it's 100 kilowatt hours
okay.
and
So,
below.
100
So
kilowatt
pag ano dyan, ikaw po ay makikinabang po dyan.
Okay. Thank you po for educating this representation at maganda rin nalalaman din po ng ating mga mamamayan. So balik po ako doon sa siniserbisyo. So dumadaan din po ba at na-check din po ba ng Philippine Competition Commission ang lahat ng mga DUs, including na Meralco, kung meron itong tendency halimbawa na nagmo-monopoly or nagmo-monopolize ng business po. Dumadaan po ba ito sa checking ng PCC?
Yes. Alam po ninyo, lahat po sila, lahat po ng mga DUs ay nakaloob po sa ERC. ERC is the supervising authority of all of them. And but in case the ERC finds that there are violations to our existing laws, especially in competition, then it is them that will refer it now to PCC.
Okay. So wala pong violation. Wala po bang violation yung Meralco in the past 25 years or 21 years that is detrimental to the customer? Kasi may mga naalala kong pinagre-refund sila doon sa mga customers. Meron po bang mga ganyang violations in the past? Kasi naalala ko sa bill, parang nakalagay dyan, na wala na nga lang dito yung sa mga previous bills na nakita ko, may mga refund.
Opo, alam ko po yan. No? I understand that Meralco, because of alleged minor violations found by ERC, then if they are more than willing to refund their customers. And but I would like to put on record that they have also been given a certificate of compliance already by ERC. So, kung meron po mga infractions na mga maliit, pwede naman po nila ibalik sa ating mga customers.
So sa ngayon po,
Pero kailangan
walang
ho
pong
patunayan,
latest,
no? Na talagang,
wala pong latest na
Opo.
cases ang Meralco na may problema sa consumers.
Opo.
Like kung nag-overprice.
Opo.
Diba? Kasi yung mga price naman, binebet naman niya ng ERC.
Correct.
Tama kung ano.
Correct.
So,
Tama po kayo.
pero merong mga time kasi na nagkaroon ng nagkaroon ng mga overpricing. So that's why may mga refund. So ito bang mga kaso na ito or itong mga ganitong mga konting pagkakamali ay na-correct na po ng Meralco?
Yes, I've read in a couple of articles, and in the hearings that we have conducted, they have manifested that they have refunded this on a regular basis. No, parang ano sila, pag nakikita nila, I'm sure they cannot do it every day. Okay, so maybe may cut-off yan every quarter, tapos the next quarter, babayaran yung huling quarter. So, meron po sila mechanism
So,
in
na-comply
place
na po
for
naman.
refunding, no?
Na-comply naman po lahat.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So, mga practical na
Distinguished
mga questions lang po, Mr. Speaker. So, how many days ba nagka-cut ng services ang Meralco sa kanyang customers? Halimbawa, due date na ngayong araw na ito. So, kailan ba siya nagka-cut? After a month ba na hindi mabayaran yung bill or after 2 months? Mga practical questions po ng ating mga kababayan.
alam po ninyo, may mga narinig akong story ang ganyan, no? Pero po, usually, ang alam ko, binibigyan po nila, pag nakapagbigay na sila ng notice of disconnection,
Oo.
then you're looking at 48 to 72 hours, no? May mga kilala ako, umabot ka
Okay.
ng, hindi lang 48 hours, no?
Okay.
At talagang, especially pag nakikita ng lineman, talagang gusto magbayad, no? At talagang namang magbabayad. So, pupunta sa Meralco office, gagawa ng kakusapin yung manager, pipirmahan yung promissory note, tapos nagbabayad naman So, may mga nakita akong ganyang mga cases. But of course, as a rule, it's after 48 hours.
Okay. So sa lahat ng DU, ganun po, 48 hours. Kasi parang,
Almost all. I cannot say because that's a very good question.
Kasi
I will
po,
ask
di
that
ba,
now
sa
dun sa
mga-
mga ibang DU
Yes,
when
sa mga
they're
DU
in
po.
the hearings.
yes, mga previous hearings natin, may mga problema po yung mga
Kasi ho
customers.
doon yung mga
Kasi
hearings,
putol agad.
yung mga kooperatiba. Alam ho nyo pagkakapitbahay ho yun. Magkakakumpare, magkakaibigan. So medyo mas mahaba yata yung kanilang palugit, no? At
So wala pong penalty doon. Halimbawa, binigay niya ng 48 days, ni nagbayad, tapos magpapakabit. Magkano yung reconnection fee?
depende po. Iba-iba ho yan. Hindi. Yes. Pero I think in Meralco, you're one of the lowest, no? You're one of the lowest. Kasi sa Meralco po, there are 20 pesos for a connection fee.
20
Pero sa
pesos?
iba po, hindi lang ho 20 pesos.
Okay. Ano pa ba yung mga questions? So, yun na lang po, Mr. Speaker, mga practical questions at maganda po na natuto ako dito sa interpellation na ito. At syempre, natuto rin yung mga taong bayan kung nanonood sila at ma-educate din natin sila. So, thank you, distinguished sponsor ng bill na ito.
Maraming
Magandang
salamat
gabi sa
din,
ating
distinguished colleague. Sa napakaganda niyong mga tanong. Magbibigay linaw sa ating mga kababayan.
Thank you, Honorable Castro.
Galing ka rin.
Majority Leader.
Speaker, there be no other members who wish to interpolate. I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? Here's none. The period of sponsorship and debate is terminated. Majority Leader.
Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Here is none. The period of amendment is hereby open. Majority Leader.
As stated earlier and manifested
Major-
by the Honorable, I'm sorry,
Majority Leader.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, for his individual amendments, I move that we recognize the Deputy Minority Leader, Representative Paul Dasa.
Honorable Paul Dasa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to our sponsors.
Speaker, I move that we suspend for a few minutes.
Session is suspended.
Well, yes, I will. Of course, we will accept. Yeah. Okay din, the grantee. Okay yan. Okay na yan. Okay. Sige, boss. Yes, sir. Boss, we don't want... ganun ba? Ganyan ba katanda? Ganyan ang katanda. Ano mo totohanan? Pinosa na yan. Okay? Elementary pa lang ako eh. Pinosa. Balik pa ako.
Session resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I reiterate my earlier motion to recognize the Deputy Minority Leader, Representative Paul Dasa, to introduce his individual amendments.
The Honorable Paul Gasa is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that in Section 7, after the words consumer interest, we insert the phrase in accordance with applicable rules and regulations of the ERC, its successor, and other relevant regulatory agencies.
What
And
does this sponsor?
the,
Well, are you done
within the
with
audience
that,
of the,
with the First Amendment? Are you done?
What does this sponsor say?
and
Chairman?
so the whole paragraph shall read, Section 7, promotion of consumer interest. The herein grantee shall establish a platform for consumer concerns to handle consumer complaints and ensure adequate promotion of consumer interest in accordance with applicable rules and regulations of the ERC, its successor, and other relevant regulatory agencies. The grantee shall act with dispatch on all complaints brought before it and shall ensure that such a platform can be remotely accessed through electronic or digital means.
What does the sponsor say?
Distinguished Speaker, as we are all for consumer interests, including the applicant themselves, we definitely will accept the amendment proposed.
What
The
does
Honorable
the House say?
We accept the proposed amendments.
Said amendment is approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and to our sponsors. In addition, I move further in Section 7, we add a new paragraph which reads as follows. The grantee will submit as part of its annual report its corporate social responsibility initiatives, including but not limited to providing electricity access to unenergized areas, remote, off-grid schools, community, and health centers, and its efforts to restore power in areas affected by calamities.
Yes,
What does the sponsor say?
yes, they're already doing it, but definitely we will accept the amendment.
What does the House say?
Speaker, I move that we approve the proposed amendments.
Said amendment is approved.
Thank you again to the sponsors and to the majority and Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Paul Dasa. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there be no other members who wish to introduce individual amendments. I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The period of amendment is hereby closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 10926 as amended, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to approve on second reading House Bill number 10926. As many as in favor say aye.
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 Those against say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 10926 is approved. On second, with House Bill number 10926 as amended, approved on second reading.
Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, distinguished Speaker. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Tambunding. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session until tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, September 25, 2024. So
Is
moved.
there any objection? The chair is done. The session is suspended until tomorrow, September 26 at 10 in the morning.
Kagabi, 2:30 na. 2:37.